People of Reddit, what is your earliest memory ever? Shitting on the kitchen floor. 3 years old. Drinking my first ever white hot chocolate in the hospital's cafe with my mom. We were in Minneapolis for a doctor's appointment. And I remember being fascinated by the skyway connecting the cafe and the hospital. Stepping on a hornet that was in the carpet of my dad's office room in the middle of the night. I remember screaming for hours while my parents called a doctor, who just said it'll be fine. My grandmother was a teacher for disabled children. Because my uncle is disabled. When I was 2 to 4, I was taken care of by her until my mother could get her footing. I would often come to the school with her and she would teach me along with the other disabled kids. Some were old enough to be my parents, but she called them her kids. And that's how I learned basic things like math and reading. I have ADHD and autism myself, but wasn't diagnosed with the latter till I was 16, so she helped a lot. I probably wouldn't have been able to learn without her. Because I couldn't pay attention, so I just read to learn. A distinct memory was one of the other girls giving me a diamond as a present. I can remember making construction paper chains of red and green for Christmas decoration at my nursery school. I was probably about 4. And my sibling was 2. My family, military, was moving overseas, and I decided that I didn't need to hold my mother's hand in the crowded airport. She had the baby to contend with anyway. I pulled loose maybe 3 times, and on the last one I was on my own. I just walked along in the crowd and eventually reached up to grab my mom's hand, but I could tell it wasn't her. I purposely didn't look up so I could pretend longer. My parents collected me at Lost and Found, or whatever they call the place stray children are left in airports. When I was 3 years old, my mother, father and relatives were at our house, but no one looked after me. I was thirsty, but everyone was busy, and I saw a bottle. I don't know what was inside it, but when I drank it I realized it was oil. I don't know if that made me puke, but when I ate our food, it just goes out of my mouth. Then I tried to swallow it. I did succeed, but after a few minutes, I puked. Really nostalgic. I was a few weeks away from being 3 years old and got bit pretty badly by our family dog. 44 stitches. I was trying to get him to play with me outside, but he had a bone he was working on and felt threatened. I'm 58 now and can still remember him whirling around with his mouth open. I spent a couple days in the hospital too. At a function for my brother. He just signed for the military. And I punched his recruiter square in the balls. Late 3. Early 4. I moved my hand and thought about moving my hand and sort of processed that it was weird that there was a difference between doing it and thinking about doing it. I'm maybe 2 or 3 years old. I'm standing in a dirt driveway next to my dad's truck somewhere near Salinas, California. There are fields as far as I can see. They are yelling back and forth, and I'm holding an 8-track cassette that I've pulled the tape out of. I think the fight is about the tape and that I'm in trouble. But she is telling him she's leaving for good. For years I thought the reason I didn't see my dad anymore was cause of what I did to that tape. Honestly, I don't remember anything before that. Or after. For at least a couple of years. My earliest memory is my earliest memory. I was 3. Mom said anyway. And we were at a picture taking place. I remember leaving the white curtain. And seeing a couple pieces of equipment. That's what I remember. But Mom said she had to chase me open mouth smile. Me sitting in a baby chair getting fed some baby food jar, and I did not like it. I remember it had an orange color. And then my dad got angry with my mom yelling why she bought this shit. Not sure what age I was. Possibly less than a year. I was trying to climb onto the bed. I was like 2 to 3 years old. I just remember that I was running on the sidewalk near my house. It was nice tbh. A bee buzzing around in my mom's apartment when I was 4. I used to make a point to stare in the mirror when I went poopy in my diaper. I was about 2 at the time. My first memory is going to another kid's birthday party when I was around 3. I remember they had rented a bouncy castle and that I saw, ate Cheez Whiz for the first time. I'm sure cheese in a can was pretty interesting to me at that age. I actually ran into that kid and his family 10+ years later because they happened to be vacationing at the same place as me and my parents. It was completely random. My family had long since moved away from there. But our moms recognized each other.